What's good, YouTube? It's your boy, Blue Blood Sports TV, back at y'all with another one. So now, we're starting to get the excuses for the highly anticipated showdown that took place this past Saturday night between undefeated two-division world champion, currently holds two belts simultaneously, one at 130, one at 135, that being the WBA sanctioned body, undefeated superstar boxer Gervonta Tank Davis, as he took on four-division world champion Mexican superstar boxer Leo Santa Cruz this past Saturday night, which saw Gervonta Tank Davis end the fight in dramatic fashion, brutally knocking out Leo Santa Cruz in the sixth round. Now, Leo Santa Cruz, on all three judges' scorecards at the end of the fight, they all had Leo Santa Cruz winning 2 out of the first 5 rounds. So that means Gervonta Tank Davis was only up ahead on 1 round, right? He was up 3 rounds to 2. With that said, now we're starting to hear the excuses. Now you're starting to hear that Gervonta Tank Davis cheated in the fight. Now you're starting to hear, coming from media, that Gervonta Tank Davis was too big for Leo Santa Cruz. Now you're starting to hear Gervonta Tank Davis cherry-picked his fight with Leo Santa Cruz. I knew this was coming. I knew Gervonta Tank Davis was in a lose-lose situation. But now the entire glove situation is what baffles me. Why does this baffle me? Because Gervonta Tank Davis, originally, when he was warming up in the locker room, you saw him have on a pair of Grant gloves, which he usually wears. Then, towards the end, before he makes his ring walk, he switched his gloves out from the Grant gloves to all white, no logo winning gloves. And now the boxing world is in a tiffy because they want to know, how did he switch brands, for one, and his backup pair of gloves. First of all, you always have a backup pair of gloves. So Gervonta Tank Davis put on the Grant gloves. He was warming up with them, and he didn't like how he felt. So he switched the gloves to the winning gloves, which are all white, with no logo on them. That's the ones he used in the fight. With that said, now they're saying, if the boxing commission, already signed off on the Grant gloves, then how was he possibly able to switch to the winning gloves? Because the winning gloves was his backup pair of gloves. Okay? That was the gloves. That was his backup pair. You always have a backup pair on deck, just in case you have a malfunction with the pair that you originally want to use. Now, people are having an issue because how was he able to use 2 different brands? How was winning his backup pair and not, it's usually the exact same pair of glove that you're wearing. The backup pair is the exact same pair. They're just, you chose these are more comfortable, a little bit more comfortable than those, but they're usually the exact same identical pair of gloves. Now, I didn't know that you could use 2 different brands of gloves, one as a backup. But if this is the case, and this is obviously part of the rules in Texas, then Gervonta Tank Davis was able to use the pair of gloves he so choose as his backup as far as brand goes. The boxing commission is there and present. See, so here's where I have the issue. Because when you have Deontay Wilder, Olympic bronze medalist, former heavyweight WBC reigning champion, successfully defended his title 10 times, knocked down or knocked out every opponent he's ever faced. When he comes out and he says that there was issues with Tyson Fury gloves, that gets dismissed as Deontay Wilder being a sore loser. When you had Miguel Cotto, after his first fight with Antonio Margarito, claimed that Margarito had something in his gloves and something wasn't right, that was dismissed as well until you got rest in power to brother Nazim Richardson, that caught Antonio Margarito's illegal raps ahead of his showdown with then Shane Mosley. And Margarito wasn't the same. Cotto then went on to fight him in a rematch and defeated him and stopped him, right? But when Cotto originally stated it, everybody dismissed Cotto as being a diva in the sport of boxing and not being able to accept his loss and being a sore loser. Now Deontay Wilder just recently comes out and he makes the claims about Tyson Fury's gloves, and it shows little to no padding in the right glove in the second fight. And in the first fight, the left glove is flapping around abnormally, right? But that gets dismissed. So now everybody has an issue with Gervonta Tank Davis switching his gloves. If it's legal in the locker room, that was his backup pair of gloves. This shows no malfunction in the gloves. And we know Gervonta Tank Davis always packs a punch. As far as Leo Santa Cruz being too small for Gervonta Tank Davis, I beg to differ. I believe that Leo Santa Cruz was too big for the fighters he was originally facing off against. Carl Frampton, who's 5'4", with a 64-inch arm reach. Abner Mares, who's 5'4", 5'5", with a 64-inch arm reach, 65-inch arm reach. Leo Santa Cruz always had the advantage in size when he competed at the bantamweight, super bantamweight, and featherweight divisions. He's always had the size advantage because Leo Santa Cruz is 5'8" and has a 70-inch arm reach. That's equivalent to a welterweight. Terence Crawford, 5'8" with a 72-inch arm reach. Floyd Mayweather, 5'8" with a 72-inch arm reach. Right? Leo Santa Cruz is actually bigger and more rangy than Showtime Sean Porter. Now, in stature, obviously Sean Porter is a more solid, different type of build guy. But Sean Porter is 5'7", 5'6" at best, with the 69-inch arm reach. So Leo Santa Cruz has a longer arm reach than Sean Porter, and he's tall, has 2 inches, nearly 2 inches, because Leo Santa Cruz is about 5'8.5". So he has nearly 2 inches on Sean Porter. So essentially, Leo Santa Cruz, what he was doing was he had an unfair advantage when he was fighting at these lower weight classes. When he was fighting Carl Frampton and when he was fighting Abner Mares, Carl Frampton is 5'5" with a 62-inch arm reach. Leo Santa Cruz has an 8-inch arm reach and nearly a 4-inch height advantage over Carl Frampton. Okay? These are Leo Santa Cruz, and the reason I'm making mention of these guys is because these were Leo Santa Cruz's biggest wins in his career. Was Abner Mares and Carl Frampton. Abner Mares is 5'4" with a 66-inch arm reach. So Leo Santa Cruz had the edge and the advantage in those fights. But if you look at Gervonta Tank Davis, now, again, I'm going to say this. Gervonta Tank Davis is a thicker and more solid built. Leo Santa Cruz is wiry and rangy, okay? That's equivalent to Terence Crawford. The biggest fight in the sport of boxing currently is Terence Crawford, who's undefeated 3-division world champion. He was undisputed at junior welterweight. He's the WBO welterweight world champion. He's widely considered the best pound-for-pound boxer in the world. Him versus undefeated, unified, WBC, IBF, welterweight world champion, superstar boxer Errol Spence Jr. is the biggest fight in the sport of boxing. With that said, Errol Spence Jr. has a different build and frame. Terence Crawford has a wiry, slimmer build frame, right? But Terence Crawford is built like Leo Santa Cruz. Errol Spence is built like Gervonta Tank Davis. Now, Errol Spence has a height advantage because Terence Crawford is 5'8", and Errol Spence is about 5'9". So he has an inch height advantage. But when it comes down to the tangibles, they're about the same, right? That's the biggest fight in boxing. Nobody's talking about the size difference is going to be a factor. Now, they talk about the strength being a factor as far as Errol Spence being stronger than Terence Bud Crawford. But for that factor, the point is this, right? Is that, that Errol Spence is, and Terence Crawford are built different naturally. They naturally have a different build, right? So with that said, Gervonta Tank Davis is 5'5" and a half with a 67.5-inch arm reach. So Gervonta Tank Davis is Leo Santa Cruz has a 3-inch arm reach advantage, and he has nearly a 4-inch height advantage. So Gervonta Tank Davis and Carl Frampton and Abner Mares are the same size. The difference is Gervonta Tank Davis has better skill set. He's athletically better, and he's more explosive, right? He's just naturally a more gifted athlete and boxer, point blank and period. So as far as size goes, that got to go out the window. Leo Santa Cruz had the size advantage. And yes, Leo Santa Cruz was fighting at lower weights, but that was because Leo Santa Cruz was draining himself down to these lower weights because he has the frame to be a 135-pounder. Okay? Leo Santa Cruz, let's just look at it. So Javonte Tank Davis, 5'5" with a 66-inch arm reach. Leo Santa Cruz had the advantage there. Okay? If you look at Devin Haney, okay, if you look at Devin Haney is 5'8" with a 71-inch arm reach. So Leo Santa Cruz and Devin Haney are the same size. Now Devin Haney's stature, because he packs on more muscle mass, he's physically stronger because he packs on more muscle mass than Leo Santa Cruz. Leo Santa Cruz and Devin Haney are the same size with the same height, reach, and advantage. Devin Haney has a 1-inch arm reach advantage. He's 71. Leo Santa Cruz is at 70. Devin Haney's 5'8". Leo Santa Cruz is 5'8". So essentially they're the same size. Okay. So when you look at it from that standpoint, now let's look at this standpoint. Okay. Nobody would claim that Vasyl Lomachenko was too small for Gervonta Tank Davis, right? That wouldn't be the case. But he is 5'6" with a 65-inch arm reach. This being Vasyl Lomachenko. Now, skill set wise, is he more skilled than Leo Santa Cruz? Absolutely. So if you want to say, well, Gervonta Tank Davis had the advantage in skill set, okay, cool. Well, you look at the skill set, natural skill set of Carl Frampton, who beat Leo Santa Cruz. That was the only loss on his resume until he got to Gervonta Tank Davis. You look at the skill set, Carl Frampton had a better skill set than Leo Santa Cruz. That's why he lost the first time. But Leo Santa Cruz was able to find a way to win the second time, right? So skill set didn't play a part in him being victorious. So now, Vasyl Lomachenko, if he fought Gervonta Tank Davis, they're the same size. If Vasyl Lomachenko fought Leo Santa Cruz, who's a 3-division world champion, this being Vasyl Lomachenko, and was unified at lightweight, Vasyl Lomachenko fights at 135. He's a smaller guy than Leo Santa Cruz. He's 5'6" and 60 with a 65-inch arm reach. And he has very short limbs when you see him, right? So it's about stature. You understand? Leo Santa Cruz can pack on the muscle mass. When you look at the fight between Gervonta Tank Davis and Leo Santa Cruz was clearly the bigger man in the ring as far as physical stature and height and reach advantage. He had those advantages in the ring. So the fact that remains is this, is that Leo Santa Cruz, when he fought at bantamweight, super bantamweight, and then featherweight, he had an advantage in those fights. So we got used to Leo Santa Cruz, right, having an advantage because his height and his reach advantage played a part in him being victorious at these smaller weight classes. Now he was up in the ring with somebody that was explosive and athletic and could get past his height and his reach. And now we're going to say that he was too big for Leo Santa Cruz. That's not the case at all. He was just too far more gifted than Leo Santa Cruz. He wasn't bigger. As far as his gloves go, Gervonta Tank Davis legally switched his gloves from the pair that he originally picked to his backup pair. The backup pair is always on deck. And if you didn't have an issue with Tyson Fury having little to no padding in his right glove, and his flappy left glove flapping around, right? Then why do you have an issue with Gervonta Tank Davis, who had no malfunctions with his gloves? Why would you have an issue with him switching his gloves? We know why. Because like Dante Boxing Nation say, he ain't on the hope list. But that's all I got for y'all. Drop a comment in the comment section. Let me know what y'all think. Y'all already know what it is. It's your boy Blue, Blue Blood Sports TV. Hey, like, comment, and subscribe. You haven't subscribed, hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, hit the bell icon to get all the new notifications. Follow me on Instagram at Blue Blood Sports TV, all one word. Y'all already know what it is. Shout out to the entire LDBC. Shout out to New Media. Shout out to Black Media Row. Make sure you like and share these videos. That's all I got for y'all. Peace.